Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. Zooming in on the role of identification and how crucial it is, how important, how very imperative it is to the healing process after overcoming relationships with narcissists, psychopaths, those people who are intrinsically manipulative and abusive. So in much of the channel, we describe and really get into depth in terms of the narcissist, the psychopath, the personality disorder, and the manipulation tactics. And one of the key distinguishing features in recovery, I find, is that of identification. Identification originally with the narcissist was that of belonging to a toxic group. Excuse me. When we are involved with a narcissist, a psychopath, or a toxic person, we are identifying with the victim mentality. We are identifying, excuse me, hay fever out here big time. Let's see here. We identify with that group, that toxic group, as our circle where we belong. Identification is crucial to happiness, joy, serenity, and security in life. Identification is that is where we feel we belong, where we fit in, where we groove, where we get our juice on, where we get our empowerment from, where we get our excitement from, where we get our happiness from. So people might belong to different organizations because they identify with their values. The Sierra Club. They might identify with a religious organization. They might relate to a political movement or a political party. They have an identification there. They might identify with the well-being of animals. They might be very anti-cruelty, so they belong to an anti-cruelty society. Some people really have a sense of belonging with the military or the veteran community. So they have a sense of, commonality, a common bond, having shared in serving for their country. So they have a sort of connection there. That is what we call identification. And in the psychological community, this is experienced as a sense of belonging, of unity, of coherence, of congruence, of agreement, of a commonality, a sort of common bond, a mutuality, and what is otherwise known as consonance. It is in agreement, it is in flow. And anytime we have a disruption in that is called dissonance, or what we discuss here as cognitive dissonance, otherwise known as a blockage from your happiness, from your true self, from your identity, from a separation from being the person who you want to be and pursuing life on your terms. Instead of feeling blocked and limited by certain situations, you are instead creating a sense of identification with that which you belong, and you're able to activate that, and you're able to live by that on a daily basis. So one of the key, extremely important aspects of moving through a narcissistic or psychopathic relationship is really finding where you belong. It is really locking into an identification. It is really shedding that victim mentality, that victim identity, and taking on a new identity. It is taking on a new identification. It is taking on a new belonging with another group where we have that consonance, where we have that congruency. And it is sometimes needing to discover what that is. It is needing to have that emerge because oftentimes after such depersonalization or experiencing of narcissistic relationships, people do not know where they belong. A lot of people are so traumatized or so victimized that they don't know their self or have an experience of their self really belonging outside of that shame-based model, outside of that victim model. So one of the key steps, and really one of the key discoveries in moving through and healing, is identifying where you identify. So it is knowing and helping you emerge and helping you express those really core values which drive you and not the narcissist. If they're completely different, then that is a good sign that you're onto your true identification. You're onto a true sense of where you belong. And if that is not the core, nuclear family, if that is not the core, group where you grew up in or where you're married, or that which was bestowed upon you, your legacy, then you need to realize that your identification and your belonging is going to be with another subset. It's going to be with another group where your values are activated and lived by and acknowledged and enhanced on a daily basis. And I'm developing a series of questions to help you discover those. And it's very important because the questions that we ask ourselves can then help elicit these answers, which have hitherto remained hidden, locked down, repressed, and submerged. And I'm going to be developing those in another session here, so you can really identify those questions that you can ask of yourself to help release that victim mentality and get into the empowered personality of identifying with your true core group and that where you truly belong. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussions, and support.